before Rome conquered Gaul, before Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon, before Roman legions marched through what is now France, there was a forgotten war, a short war, but one with massive consequences, but by diplomacy gone horribly wrong, a war triggered not by conquest. Today we're diving deep into the Exhibian War of 155 to 154 BC, a conflict so small it's often ignored, yet so important it quietly reshaped the future of southern Gaul forever. And before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Historical Facts channel. It helps the channel grow, it supports deep historical content like this, and ensures you don't miss future videos. Now let's go, back more than 2,100 years. To understand the Exhibian War, we first need to understand the world that existed before Roman dominance. Southern Gaul in the ancient world was not empty land, waiting to be conquered. It was a complex region filled with independent tribal societies, long-standing trade routes, centuries of cultural exchange, and fierce competition for land and resources. But long before Rome ever showed interest in this region, another Mediterranean power had already arrived, the Greeks. The founding of Masilia. Around 600 BC, Greek settlers from the city of Phocia in Asia Minor sailed west across the Mediterranean. They were traders, sailors, and colonists, masters of long-distance maritime networks. On the rocky southern coast of Gaul, they founded a city called Masilia, known today as Marseille. This was not an accident. Masilia was positioned perfectly. A natural harbor, access to inland trade routes, close to valuable resources like tin, amber, and agricultural goods. From the very beginning, Masilia was a commercial powerhouse, a Greek network along a hostile coast. Masilia didn't remain isolated. Over time, it founded a chain of smaller colonies along the coast, including Agathe Tychi, Agde, Olvia, Hieris, Antipolis, Antibes, Nicaea, Nice. These weren't massive cities with sprawling populations. Instead, they were strategic ports carefully placed along a coastline that was otherwise rugged, dangerous, lacking natural harbors, controlled by tribes who were not always friendly. For sailors, these ports were like lifesavers. They provided fresh water, food, repairs, safe anchorage, protection from pirates and storms. In many ways, these colonies functioned like ancient gas stations, critical infrastructure in a dangerous world. Culture flows inland, but trade didn't stop at the shoreline. From these Greek ports, ideas began to move inland. Local populations, Gauls, Ligurians, and mixed Celto-Ligurian tribes were exposed to Greek culture in ways that permanently changed their societies. We see evidence of Greek writing systems used by local elites, wine consumption, which spread rapidly among tribal leaders, olive oil, pottery, coins, and luxury goods. Greek artistic styles influencing native craftsmanship. This wasn't forced cultural domination. It was exchange, and for centuries it worked. Peace, but never stability. Despite these exchanges, the relationship between Greeks and locals was never truly stable. Why? Because Greek colonies controlled ports and trade. Tribes controlled land and manpower. Economic imbalance bred resentment. Population pressures increased competition. Raiding was a normalized part of Iron Age warfare. Even when trade flourished, violence was always just beneath the surface, and eventually, it erupted. The attacks of 155 BC. In 155 BC, two tribes, the Oxybi and the Diakides, launched attacks on the Greek colonies of Nicaea and Antipolis. We don't know exactly why. Our primary source, Polybius, doesn't explain their motives. That leaves historians to speculate. Possible explanations include retaliation against Greek expansion, disputes over land or trade tolls, pressure from population growth, or simple raiding, which was extremely common. What we do know is this: the Greek colonies were in serious trouble. Masilia makes a crucial decision. Masilia has its own military forces, but they were no match for multiple tribal armies. Instead of fighting alone, Masilia turned to its greatest asset, Rome. By this point, Masilia had been a loyal Roman ally for generations, providing ships, intelligence, and trade support during Rome's wars. Rome, however, had not yet conquered southern Gaul. This was a gray zone, outside formal Roman control, but very much within Rome's growing sphere of influence. Rome tries diplomacy first. The Roman Senate didn't immediately send legions. Instead, they chose diplomacy. A senatorial commission was dispatched to demand the Exhibi and Diakides lift their sieges. The envoys were Gaius Flaminius, Popilius Laenus, Lucius Pupius. These were not weak men. Two had fought brutal wars in Liguria before. They knew the terrain, they knew the tribes, but diplomacy in this region was never guaranteed to succeed. The attack at Aegitna. As the Roman envoys disembarked at Aegitna, everything went wrong. The Oxabai attacked. Gaius Flaminius was wounded. 2 Roman attendants were killed. This was not just violence, this was a declaration. In the Roman worldview, harming envoys was one of the greatest crimes imaginable. It was an insult to the gods, an insult to Roman authority, an insult that demanded blood. Rome unleashed. The Senate reacted with fury. Diplomacy was over. The consul, Quintus Opimius, was given command. He marched overland into Liguria, bringing a disciplined Roman army into territory that had never faced such organized warfare before. His first target was symbolic: Aegitna, the destruction of Aegitna. Rome made an example of the town. The settlement was destroyed. The population was enslaved. The leaders were sent to Rome in chains. This was psychological warfare. Rome was announcing its arrival, the fall of the Xabai and Diakitis. After Aegitna, Opimius marched against the tribes themselves, and this is where their final mistake sealed their fate. Instead of uniting, the Oxabai and Diakitis fought separately. Roman legions crushed them one by one. There was no prolonged war, no heroic last stand, just overwhelming force. The aftermath. Rome didn't annex the land outright. Instead, territory was granted to Masilia. Hostages were taken. Future rebellion was discouraged. Rome had won nothing without ruling. Why this war changed history? The Oxybian War was small, but it was a turning point. It marked Rome's first military intervention in southern Gaul, the beginning of permanent Roman influence in the region, the slow erosion of tribal independence, a warning that Roman diplomacy came with an iron fist. Within decades, southern Gaul would become Gallia Narbonensis, a Roman province, and it all began here. If you enjoyed this deep dive into an overlooked ancient conflict, please like and subscribe to the Historical Facts channel. It helps keep long-form history alive, and there's plenty more on the way. Thanks for watching. As always, history never truly sleeps.